Hey guys, what's going on? It's Luke here today, and today I know I haven't seen you in a while, but I wanted to do a very special video. I like to think all my videos are special, but this one's especially special. We are celebrating the 12th birthday or anniversary, whatever, from when Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show, premiered, one of my favorite shows. I have a very special guest to help talk about it with me. Friend of the show, Tyler Backus. Come on in here. Let's hear it for him.
Hey. Hey everybody, what's going on today? Nice to be on set with you. Yep.
Back in our home studio. We're actually on location today.
Mm-hmm.
We're in his home. This is the Burdett Dog studio.
Yep, office back there.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah,
really.
where all my videos are. You
Right.
want to check that out. After the show, watch this, but then come to my channel afterwards.
They're not that good. So, this is a show, Avatar, that we have both loved. I think it's safe to say.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
I remember, it was 2005 when it came out. I was living in Minnesota. And shout out, and Beaver Creek, and I just remember it being a big premiere for Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah,
it was like their staple. They were like, "This is the next big thing," and I watched it, and I loved it. Like the first episode's great. It gets you right in. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but what was your first impression of the show?
it was when you're a kid, there's not too many. TV series that'll do this to you, but I only remember a couple of them that did it for me, that made me actually get on the schedule of when the new episode would come out. Like I remember Yu-Gi-Oh would do that. Like I didn't catch them as new episodes, but they played them in order every night, and so I watched those. But then also when Avatar new episodes would come out, I'd be like, okay, new episodes here on this time, and we're factoring this out 12 years ago. So what I was,
I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, I must have been.
No, I was in 4th grade.
I'd be 13 years old. Well, no.
I would have been halfway through my 4th grade.
I think I was 11 years old, and so I was doing this as an 11-year-old, actually getting on schedule. Because I loved it so much.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I remember this was maybe still the only show, but I would have friends come over for the premiere of a new season.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I've never done that with anything else, and as a kid, yeah.
Especially because, it ends with, on the cliffhanger, usually. Sometimes it doesn't. And then every episode starts out with previously on Avatar.
Right.
And so it just made you want to watch them all in order. And I remember if I, for some reason, missed an episode, it was just devastating. Because, eventually trying to catch when Nickelodeon would play it again was just painstaking.
Right. Yeah.
So trying to figure out when I could rewatch it always stunk. But yeah, just, watching the series straight through as a kid, that says a lot, I think, as a TV series. Yeah.
And I think that it was definitely one where the show was so, serious, for kids, too. It was very much, I loved the mythology that it presented.
Yes.
And it was so rich, and it was just, this great, this is just great story. And it wasn't just it's a new Nickelodeon show, blah, 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 there was definitely silliness there, but there was so much high stakes, really there was some really Shakespearean arcs with some characters.
Yeah, definitely.
And just it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was really great stuff.
And I personally, with my wife, just rewatched it. And
sorry,
not too
ladies,
long ago.
he's married.
Yeah, I am. but as rewatching it, I did notice that the first season kind of had those. It's a lesson, for kids, something little bits in there. and then quickly faded out of it. Okay. And then so, because I was just like, I don't remember all these little lessons in it when I was watching it, but then like halfway through the first season, faded out of it, and that's where it went hardcore. Like there's some episodes that you were really nervous on what was actually happening and everything, and I
remember the second season, it just kept getting better. Like I remember like. The first season was Water, right? Mm-hmm. I remember that one being good, and it kind of started it out. But then once season 2 started, and then they aired like some season 1 episodes, I was like, these are so much better in season 2.
Yes. When Earth picked up, that was fantastic. Introducing Aang's Earth teacher. Absolutely great. I love Toph as a character.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. And the episodes usually, still kind of turn out maybe a little bright on the end. It's a kid's show. It's a kid's show.
Yeah.
But and it's just always suspenseful. But like I say, season 2 picked up. There was always that fear in the background, where like the episode, the episode might have ended happy, but that like Zuko's still chasing after you, the Fire Nation. It made you still think about like the bad stuff that's still in it, fantastic. I always thought, and like you said, as it evolved through seasons, like you said, first season was very good, or it was really good. I liked it. I didn't think like that. It could have been better, I guess,
for sure.
But then they did. They did make it better, and then better as it went on. So it's really nice.
And it's one that I know you bought the series of, right? Yep. I should, because it's such a good TV show. I know I'd love to rewatch it, but it's just like it does so many things well. And one of the things that like is stuck with me is. So Aang's the main character. The main villain, especially right away, is Zuko. This kind of brat, Fire Nation guy.
Prince of the Fire Nation.
Prince of the Fire Nation, Fire Lord Ozai's son.
Trying to prove his honor.
He's never been liked by him, whatever. But, like, his arc is so good.
It sure is, yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with his uncle. His uncle is, like, probably my favorite character.
Yeah,
he is great. So great. But like going from this bratty little just shitty snot-nosed kid who's super annoying, and he gets his ass humbled big time throughout, and then he's like, right away he's just this annoying face of this brat, bad guy, but then he kind of gets extradited a little bit from his nation, and he's on his own, and then he just becomes his own person. And he has his uncle there who's helping him out, who's this wise man who's very kind for being, part of the evil people, is just a great character. And it's just like stuff like that like kids shows especially don't really tackle that kind of stuff.
Zuko's biggest battle is his inner self, basically. Like that's stuff that they don't cover.
No, that's real stuff there.
He deals with his own emotions, and he gets lost. He loses his path. It makes you think, like the show. Like there's a couple episodes where he is, trying to find his inner path and everything, and it's just. It really just makes you think about yourself. And as a kid's show, that doesn't really get touched on, especially on Nickelodeon.
No, especially Nickelodeon.
It's a great show for Nickelodeon to have on their back. They have a lot of successful shows.
Yeah,
for
I'm
kids.
a fan for sure.
But then Avatar. You don't go back and rewatch the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob. They were fun when I was a kid, but Avatar, it's just like, I'm 23 years old. Let's rewatch Avatar.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely great. Because SpongeBob, you're like, that's good for that demographic. Like when you're a kid, and there's stuff in there you can enjoy too, but it's very much a kids show. Like with Avatar, it's technically a kids show, but like it takes itself very seriously.
Yes, it does.
Which is really refreshing. It's not just like like we said before, silly, whatever. Like, there are real stakes.
Mm-hmm.
There's real shit going on. And, like, and not to downplay Aang, the main character's arc, that's a great one, too, because he's, like, first of all, what a great introduction of a character. Is like, he's the last of his kind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no one else like him. Basically Captain America.
Yeah.
He's been frozen for 100 years or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's a kid. And he's supposed to be the savior. And you as a kid watching it, you're like, he's like silly and like isn't really good at anything because he's just a snot-nosed little kid. He's just like goofy and whatever. And it's like,
he's
you gotta...
10 years old.
Yeah, he's 10 years old. It's like, he's got to grow up. And he's got to...
save the world.
And save the world.
Yeah.
And he's just a kid, like... That's big stuff, and it's fun to watch him mature throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And like, the more mature he gets, the more you like really pull for him.
Oh yeah.
And then like what's her name, Katara,
mm-hmm.
and Sokka. Like I like Sokka's story too, because right away he's just kind of the bumbling idiot who doesn't have any powers, and he's just
mm-hmm.
like the silly guy, and he remains that. But, like, I liked his story because he was, like... Because he didn't have powers, and he was always trying to prove himself.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he showed a lot of strength through that weakness,
mm-hmm.
which was really cool. And Katara, like... she's a little more boring of a character. She was still
a mother figure.
Mother figure,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And she was kind of, some would say boring. I liked her, and she was very important. And she didn't drag it down at all, but she was another great character.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But Toph, like you said, there's a great one.
Yeah.
This blind girl who is an earthbender, and that's another thing, is the amount of detail and like time they took in crafting this art in this world is so apparent. It's just like in everything, and like even just like how all the different types of bending are based on different kinds of martial arts.
Yeah.
Like the way they move, and then their special techniques, and like all this crazy weird world that they have mapped out, they have little clues to, is like, it's so great.
It is. Yeah, because it's not like people can just bend,
Right,
and so it's like, I'm just happen to be able to bend rocks and everything. Like, you actually go through and they convince the audience that you can even do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch that show and you didn't like try some of the moves that you watched and seen if you could make a rock avalanche pop up and whatnot, then I don't know what you were doing watching that show. Because after every episode, like, I believed that maybe I could finally bend air.
Yes. Every time.
It was great.
And then it's just such a fun show.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's just a work of art, and it like pays respect to like, Japanese culture, and also
It does. Yeah.
like it's basically, I don't know how to put this, other than to say America's best version of doing anime.
Yeah.
I think that I've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just great. Well, we're not just talking about this to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you can see that we really love this show.
Love it a lot.
So we're about to ruin all this. Do you have it?
Yeah, I do actually. It's right here. There it is. Here it is so everyone can see. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, they made a live action movie. This is a cartoon, an animated show. They made it into a feature film, live action.
I was so excited, when I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard that it was
too.
becoming a movie. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, because we love it. It's a great show.
Yep.
It's fantastic, and we thought it has such rich mythology and story. You could make a series of movies. You can make 3, like the Water, Earth, Fire, and just have a great trilogy. That didn't happen. So basically, this movie's infamous because it's terrible. Neither of us have seen it, but that's all the reviews it's ever got. is that it's so awful. And this was towards the peak of, it wasn't quite the peak, but towards the peak of M. Night Shyamalan's decline. And it's just a terrible movie, and we love the show so much that neither one of us have watched it to this point. We've managed to avoid it, but for your pleasure, we're doing a before and after, so you can see how much we love the show, and we're about to watch this terrible fucking movie.
Yeah. Remember how we said that Aang is such a happy-go-lucky, person?
Mm-hmm.
He's just a little kid. He has fun. Apparently, none of that made it in the movie.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's just a serious kid who doesn't like to have fun. And, Aang, I don't know how this happened, but his name is Ong.
Yeah, they call him Ong.
His name is Ong in this.
How do you mispronounce it? Did no one watch the show?
So I can't wait to hear them say Ong over and over in the movie to this expressionless kid. Man.
I did hear the effects were good at the time. They probably aged, because this came out in 2010, so it's been 7 years. So
I don't know.
I'm
having second thoughts now.
I'm really hoping it's not as bad as they say, but I guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. Sure are.
Anything else you want to say before we go?
I don't think so. Well, I guess there's that one thing. I have told you, but now I can tell your audience that I think this was the introduction, because I was still pretty young when they made this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was 16. I don't know,
If you're 23 now, because it came out in 2010.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, did it? Okay.
So 7 years ago.
Okay. And then 23 minus 7.
Is 16, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So I was 16. This was like, I was an average movie guy as a kid. This is like the first time that someone told me this movie wasn't good, and I was like, wait, a movie can't be good? Because I just watched, main movies or whatever.
Right.
The superhero movies that came out, and always had fun. Always watched some pretty bad, I don't even know what you call them. Just like I said, I wanted to go see R.I.P.D. That's movies I watched growing up, and so it doesn't matter if the movie's good or not. It just kind of has like a family vibe to me.
Yeah.
But then, when I heard that this film wasn't good, I just couldn't believe it, and I was heartbroken. I was like, well, they have to make another one then that is good, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a reality check for me. So it plays an important. I probably even told myself I was never going to watch it, but here I am.
Yeah, I told myself that too, just because I don't want to ruin what I love about the show. Like, to this point, it's like we love the show. It's like I don't want to watch something that takes away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But
it'll be fun.
We're gonna do it.
Still love the show.
Yeah. We'll just hate this movie.
Yeah, this might just have to get burned when we're done.
So when we come back, it'll be after we watch it. We'll jump ahead in the future, and we'll tell you just how shitty it was.
Yep. Sounds good.
Here we go. All right. Let's do it. Come on.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily.
Well, what'd you think, Tyler?
A little rough around the edges. 10 out of 10.
Not a perfect movie, but it was.
But it was a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh, where do we begin? So we literally just got done watching it. It was bad,
Yeah. It sure was. For a bit, like, I didn't even consider it as, like, Avatar movie at all.
No.
Like, it was relating to it, but, like, I was just not in it. Like,
No, yeah, and it was like... it didn't even feel like it, and, like, there were a lot of references to the show, but it was just like...
I still couldn't get in.
No, at all. And it was just like, hey, remember this? Look at this. Hey, remember this? Look at this. Look, we know we're from this. And what we were kind of talking about during it was like, there's no story. There's nothing, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, they have these characters and they're kind of, but they're not doing anything. Like, they're just, there's no cohesive story.
I would have loved to have someone who has not watched Avatar watch that with us to see if they knew, if they could follow that. Because, like I said in the last part, I am fresh off Avatar, and so I knew a lot of the little things here and there. I was just like, all right, this looks a lot like this scene. But, like, if someone had no idea, they just kept moving. I mean, think about, I don't even know how long, 20 episodes in one movie. And they were trying to touch all of it. Like, even stuff that they could have definitely cut out to focus on other parts.
Was a lot.
I know. It's just like, all right, we're here. Oh, there's conflict. Thank gosh it got resolved 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And next conflict,
Yeah, and there wasn't, like you said, it was just boom, 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 boom. And so it didn't give you time to A, know what was going on, B, give a shit at all. It was just like, fast forwarding through the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, it was going so fast, yeah. Yeah, it was.
But there was no character development.
No.
And this is just story stuff. Like, the acting was atrocious.
Yeah, very bad. Like Luke said, no character development. Even Aang, or I should say Ong, for this. We should keep them separate.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't blend the bad Avatar with the good. Yeah. So Ong, that was a thing. Didn't even have his character development. Like, things were just lightning zipping past. Like, even for Sokka and Katara to join the group.
And it was Sokka in the movie.
Sokka, yeah, that's right, in the movie. It was just like, they met him, they got separated real quick, they met back up with him, basically said, alright, I have to go back to the air temple. They said, we'll come with you. He said, no, you guys can't. He said, we are in it with you. Okay. And then I flew off. and you may think I'm joking, but watch it. It was just like, yes, no, yes, okay.
Yeah, and if you thought that didn't make any sense, it didn't in the movie either.
Yeah, like it just... and that was just what, the whole movie was made up of.
Every time they started talking, I rolled my eyes. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, so even when the character development... And then they arrive at the temple after flying for days, probably, and then Ong finally introduced himself. Like,
and they're like, oh, what's your name? For days and days, and after...
And, stuff was... all over the place.
And Zuko was terrible. You could barely tell he had a scar on his face.
Yeah.
Uncle had dreadlocks and was young.
Very skinny.
Very skinny. And they just did dumb stuff the whole time. And, like, that was the main thing taken away from it. It was like, you didn't need that many references to the show in there. You didn't need to do it that much. Like, they just needed to make a good story.
Yeah.
Just have simple. It just was. They tried to do too much, and like we had said going in, and we saw it. The effects were really good. There was some really good effects.
Yeah, that was surprising. Like, some of those effects were actually really spot on.
Yeah.
And we were, rolling our eyes, like just kind of face palming, and then this effect popped in, and we're like. Oh,
we're like, yeah, that was good.
That was neat.
Yeah,
and then more story would come, and we're like, oh gosh,
what is going on?
So,
and there's constant narration. of,
Yep.
and pretty much every time anybody spoke was just exposition, and yet the exposition didn't even really tell you. It didn't matter. Like, they were,
Yeah.
it was so bad.
Yeah, that was very, very spotty.
And, like, we were talking, too, like, the costumes were awful.
Oh, yeah. It looked like they went to their local Halloween store.
Yeah, like Halloween
and
Express.
picked up some stuff.
And just got some samurai costumes.
Yeah, uh-huh. And if you the Fire Nation costumes looked very bad, and like they were made of plastic. And even Fire Lord Ozai's costume was bad, which, if you remember the show, well, you see his face a lot in this, and that you do not in the show. He's this mysterious man. But
in this one, he's just kind of a dorky dude.
And seeing his horrible costume makes me think that the first battle he'll get in, he's just going to get stabbed right through his costume.
It just looked fake and stupid and put together quickly and just...
Yeah.
Like, it was just, like, it didn't make sense where they were going. They were, like we said, it was moving fast. They expect you to care about this character for no reason. And then you're here and you're there and you're there. And none of it makes sense because you're like, all right, they find this guy. But then it's like, all right, no time for that. Now we got to go here.
Yes.
And then we got to go here. And then we got to go here. And then we got to go here.
Like I said, an issue would pop up and conflict resolution would happen in like 35 seconds. And then they moved on.
Yeah.
It was madness.
So like so then anytime a conflict arose, you were like, okay, who gives a shit? It's going to be over in a little bit anyway.
Yeah, no development, so you knew who to care about. Over, proceed.
That's it. And then the final battle actually took a while. That was the only place they stayed for a while.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't good, and you were like...
Still had no character development.
No, and you're like, who gives a shit about any of this?
Yeah.
Like, we saw the show, so we knew what it was all referencing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't help, because we were like... It just made us think of how much better the show was. Like, if you're going to differentiate yourself, like, your first goal should be to make a good movie. Like, you could have picked, like, 3 major plot points from that first season. Yeah. Not 20. You pick, like, 3 and make a good arc. Like, discovering, like, they were in the movie instantly with, like, narration. They had a big text scroll. Mm-hmm. And then you were in it. What they should have done is just done it visually. Yeah. You know, shown a little bit, get you into it, get you feeling it. Yeah. And then, like, discovering him should have been a bigger deal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was right away. That should have been a bigger deal. Him waking up and everything, that should have been first thing. And then should have spent more time with that. And then go to the Fire Nation. And then spend more time with them and why they want to kill him. Why it's a big deal to Zuko to get him. You know, why that matters, because they didn't touch on any of that.
They sure didn't.
Show us why that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And then go back to him trying to train, whatever, with water. You just could have done it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, definitely they could have hit a massive point of finding him.
That should have
been. Where that could have been a good portion of the movie.
That should have been like, the whole first act should have been like, you know, setting up the world, you know, the mythology of it, of what the Avatar means, how he vanished, and then the world they're living in. And then discovering him, it should have been this big thing. Yeah, And then, you know, and then you can go from there. But that should have at least laid the groundwork. Mm-hmm. This didn't do any of that.
It was very bad.
So you didn't give a shit. You didn't care about anything.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely needed the highlight points and cut out the fat. I don't know. They could have done... I don't know. You know, it might be even bad to have this in the movie, but even having like little quick montages and with some narration of some of the crap that they put in there, just to be like, they obviously wanted to show it, but been like so unnecessary. Just like do a fast little montage and proceed to the next big point of the movie, and then you know, a little like montage, and then the end. It should have had like maybe 3 big scenes in it. Beginning, finding him, some conflict in the middle and the end, and the rest could just been like faded in. I don't know. It was really ridiculous.
Seemed like they tried to do too much.
Yeah.
And
I said while we were watching it, in a perfect world where the Avatar movies weren't going to suck, they probably could have done Book 1, Part 1, 2, and 3. Book 2, Part 1, 2, and 3. You know, and that's, like you're saying, in a perfect world where they were going to be good in the first place.
Right.
And, but, yeah, like, packing in a whole entire TV series into one movie is impossible.
Yeah.
It was not good. I don't know.
And it didn't honor the source material at all. It shat all over it.
Yep. Ooh.
And I don't think it... But I will say, I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And that's going in after we've heard for years and years that it's absolutely trash.
Right. So
our mindset was very low.
Right. I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
At least it had good effects.
It did have good effects.
That's a plus.
And that's about it. But but that's something.
Yeah. It's not completely shit. But
it's close.
Yeah, I mean, it's very all over the place and bad.
But I mean, you can tell they were trying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
yeah.
it's just like they didn't. They just didn't do a good job.
They're trying very poorly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
But it was like, yeah, because of all the ridiculous amount of references they had to the show, and name dropping and like, look, fans, it's just fan service. Look.
Yeah.
But the only people, so then you're alienating a lot of your audience who hasn't seen the whole series.
Yeah, for sure.
So they don't know all that. They're just seeing a shitty movie. And then we as fans are watching it saying, why are you referencing all this shit that you can't even show us that we know is already better than this? You're just reminding us how much better the show is than this fucking movie the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be different as a movie. You can't do what the TV show can do. They have more time to build all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So like with this, you have to make a story that fits a 3-act structure that can be done in 2 hours.
Yep.
You know, and you got to be able to do that. But the main thing is you got to tell a good story. And this was a big fucking convoluted mess.
Oh, so bad.
And the acting wasn't good at all.
No.
Like, not at all.
Oh my gosh, that was very painful.
Across the board, some of the worst.
Every single person, basically. We had people that we liked.
There was the one guy
Yeah.
who's like a Fire Nation guy. He's been in... I've seen him around. He's a seasoned actor. I don't know his name, but off the top of my head. But like he was in like Spider-Man 2 and some other bigger movies. He's a good actor, and he was acting. Like he was trying hard. You could tell he was doing a good job, but everyone else was just wooden.
Yes.
And I was telling you, I was like, is this like the first time they've read the lines out loud?
Yeah, there was parts that really seemed like that, where it like some of the lines were even like right at the beginning with Sokka. There was one line that he basically read it like this, like, the white fox jumped over the fence. And it was like, what? And that's like maybe the third line in the movie or whatever it was. It was just like, all right, this is what we're stepping into. Like it was like he was reading it off of a freaking script in behind him, or
the cue card.
Yeah, the cue card. There we go. It was spaced out, and I don't know. It was
across the board. Every actor was just terrible.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Bad directing, bad.
Yeah.
Whatever the person telling them what their environment is that they're in. I don't know. I don't know. It was
poor direction. There was some. It was like a mix because they definitely were like their main focus was the effects. So they had shots to show off the effects, and they had a couple of them with like where they lingered on some of the action, which was okay. But then it was mismatched with a lot of quick cutting.
Yeah.
And it was all over the place. It was a mess. It was jumbled. There wasn't a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, I'm sure it's gotten a bad rap because everybody was so excited for it, and then they got that.
Yeah.
But us, like, taking it with a huge grain of salt, it was still really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't, like, heartbreaking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely weren't expecting to get this awesome movie and then go into it and just, literally have our hearts ripped out.
Yeah.
So it's better that way,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I would not recommend watching it. It's not a good hate watch.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, you only be putting yourself in a bad situation. Yeah. I don't know. If you are curious, I don't know, just go for it. But yeah, don't expect like to love hating it. Yeah, like you said. I don't know. If you have a couple good buddies, just watch it.
It's watchable. You could watch it.
Like I said, the effects will kind of keep you like, oh, that's cool. I mean, at least that was good. Otherwise, you're watching a completely shitty movie. Yeah. But like, I mean, we're big fans, and so it was kind of fun watching it just to like hate it. But I mean, if you're just like a moderate fan or whatever, you're gonna be lost completely. If you haven't seen that series in probably a year, you won't know what's even happening.
Like, you were naming off references left and right, and I was like, I don't even know that.
Yeah, because I was trying to help you out too.
Yeah.
It was really fresh in me, but I don't know.
That was bad, but...
Yeah.
Well, shit, can I see that?
We got a break?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna do it?
We'll do it together.
Yeah,
This is the... Wait, hold on. This is the real DVD, by the way. I don't know if you can read it, but...
Yeah. But, I mean, there's no point in having another copy of it in the world. So, it's just gonna bend.
Alright, well, that wasn't as dramatic.
That's fine.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. There's, like I said, we're doing the world a service.
We don't need any more.
No, yeah.
That's it.
Definitely. If you have a copy at home, I recommend you doing this as well. Together, we can all break every single disc in existence.
Let's get that.
And we can
get that trending. Break that disc.
Yep. Break that disc party. Avatar's over party. But yeah. Like I said, break your discs at home, everyone, right now. Leave a comment below if you broke your own disc.
Send us in pictures.
Yeah.
Tweet at me, at LukeLarson89 on Twitter. Keep listening to my podcast, the L Squared Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud, otherwise, obviously, right here on YouTube. This guy, Burdette Dog, does video game commentaries. We just did another one.
Yep.
Together, some Cluster Truck.
Yeah,
The Walking Dead. What else do you got?
Thinking about reliving some old series. Was talking about going back to maybe a little Minecraft or whatnot. Even though I'm not quite sure. Well, Walking Dead, there'll be a lot of that content.
That's the premiere one.
Yeah,
that's a really good game.
Going through season 1 again, following up to season 2, and season 3 is out right now. So I'm gonna knock all of them out again. So that'll be a couple months worth of content there. But yeah, and then our little side commentary over Cluster Truck. It's pretty fun. We were doing a lot of screaming and whatnot. So it'll be
I died a
watch.
little bit in one of them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Luke started dying. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I'd recommend checking that out too if you want some more of us.
For sure, if you can't get enough.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to end this other than
that big
cut
myself. Yeah.
That's how we guys. That's real stuff.
Yep.
You can't find this anywhere else.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Go
One more copy out of the world.
Peace.
Thanks for watching, guys.
That's real.